Welcome to tonight's District 5 United meeting. District 5 United strives to improve the quality of life in East San Jose and in San Jose as necessary. We have the Safe Jobs, Healthy Families presentation with Q&A by Grecia Resendez and Amanda Haas. And I'll go ahead and hand it off to both of you.
Good evening. I'm Amanda, and Grecia is my colleague, and she's going to be putting our, I hope, our PowerPoint up. Background, I'm a lawyer, and I have been fighting for safe jobs and healthy families here in this valley for decades, starting when we were known as the Valley of Heart's Delight. And when Latinas were seasonal cannery workers contending with the hazards of heat, noise, physically exhaustive work, discriminatory practices, they were thrilled when the electronics industry reached out and started hiring them in the so-called clean industry. My concerns and suspicions about what might be going on led me to create the Santa Clara Center for Occupational Safety and Health, and ECOSH. I'm now going to give you a quick overview of what the most significant impact has been, I believe, of this industry in terms of failing to warn and failing to protect, who suffered the most, and how we're fighting back. And it's two ways: helping affected families get compensation for the special needs that they face and their children deserve, and holding the electronics industry accountable for the costs that the public has been bearing to help meet the needs of children with developmental disability and their families, such as special education, personalized medical care, in-home support service, and more. So as the chart depicts, the issue of toxics and pregnancy, this isn't new, but it hasn't been taken seriously. And in the electronics industry, it's particularly serious because the bulk of the production workforce has been young women of childbearing age, not warned, not protected, and never told that what are considered the legal standards in the workplace have nothing to do with safety. We have environmental standards for these same chemicals, which the next slide will show us, are much more protective, like sometimes as much as 1,000 times more protective. And you look at what the main effects can be of being exposed. The nervous system comes up regularly, and we're talking about both solvents and metals. Methanol, for example, that's methyl alcohol. If people remember fetal alcohol syndrome, it's bad. And unfortunately, breathing alcohol at work is one of the most efficient ways of delivering that toxic to your fetus, but nobody's told this. So trichloroethylene's on this list, so is toluene. These are all notoriously popular in the electronics industry. And so I'm going to go to the next slide because we've got a lot to tell you. The disparity has been between what's considered okay in the workplace and what's okay in the environment exists around the world. There's nothing special about the fact that it's still here, but there's no excuse for it, particularly in an environment where people are working with many materials at the same time. And people may remember when waste from this industry made it into the drinking water down in the Great Oaks area of San Jose in '81 as a result of bad behavior, failure to take responsibility for their waste by two big name companies. The consequences included heart defects in children in the community, a lot of miscarriages. But the point I want to make is that the concentrations of these chemicals in drinking water was minute compared to what workers are exposed to. And that point was made clearly in 1986, when a review of this industry wanted people to understand the disparity, and it hasn't changed. Calling for that change is part of our goal, but also explaining why working in the clean industry is actually very dangerous. So next up is, in case you're curious about what I mean by developmental disability, I'm just going to share pictures of two of my favorite guys, and I have represented them and their families and been able to provide, as a result, home security and other benefits that everybody would want to be able to provide for their families. But in a situation that they face, they don't know that anybody even cares or could help. So we're trying to get this word out. Mark things aren't going to change for Mark. And when I say he doesn't know the difference between a toy truck and a real truck, what that means is he can't be outside by himself. He doesn't know that his mom is aging and is at some point no longer going to be able to be his care provider. I am happy to say that as a result of the legal work we did, the family has been able to find secure, safe housing and live under one roof with Mark's sister and her partner. And so they have obtained what they had hoped might happen, but it's always a long fight. And Mark knows that there are people who care about him. He also knows what it's like to be left on the sidelines, and that happens plenty. And it's one of the burdens people are even afraid to bring up because they don't think anyone cares. All right, next is my other good friend. This is Daryl, and Daryl's mom was, I didn't mention, Yvette was working around lead. She wasn't told that was the case. And in the course of the case, we've discovered that the amount of lead in the mixture she was working, all we knew was it was more than 1%. I figured, well, between 1% and 2%. With a lot of persistence, we found out that actually that material commonly used in this industry was 62% lead. So that tells you what you need to know about why Mark's brain doesn't work. Daryl's mom was working with a lot of solvents when she was pregnant, and he was born with a small head size. And she thought that perhaps somebody could do a surgery to release the pressure on his brain and allow it to keep growing. I had to tell her that, in fact, the reason his head size is as small as it is that his brain stopped growing. And when your brain doesn't continue to grow and all those important steps get made, there's no change, there's no hope. There's no do-over, there's no transplant. And as the picture shows, Daryl is very fond of clocks, and that is about it. He wants to know what time it is, and then he's back to just being Daryl. It's a challenge for his whole family. They do the best they can. It was entirely preventable. So the next thing is that we want to find folks that don't know we're looking for them. And as a result, we created a survey, and any ideas about how to get this to people who are the parents of individuals with developmental disability is welcome, because the public is bearing the cost. Why should that be? It's like the opioid crisis. Why is it our job to bear the cost of injuries that could have been prevented? So Gracie is going to give a presentation about what the survey is and how people can access it. And I thank you very much.
Thank you, Amanda. So the survey, the easiest way that, well, first of all, who we're looking for everyone affected. And so if you know of somebody, or you are someone who worked in the electronic industry and had a child born with a developmental disability, this is definitely geared towards you or the people that you know. This is our QR code. So you can screenshot it. What you can do also with the QR code is if you open the camera on your cell phone and just aim it at the QR code, the link to our survey will pop up right under that picture without you even taking the picture, and you can click on it. You can also just take a picture of it to send it to people that you know might have been affected by this. Then there's other ways to reach us. We have our website, which has all this information, our flyers, and the survey info, and that's www.safejobshealthyfamilies.org. We have a phone number that you can text and call us to whenever you want to. We know text is a little bit more accessible. You can text us with any questions if you're hesitant or want to know more. Where is this data going to go? Who's going to have access to it? What if you want to remain confidential? You can also email us at survey@safejobshealthyfamilies.org. And that the last one is the direct link to our survey, and that's bit.ly/safejobs_healthy families. But I think the easiest one might be if you just go to our website and you can read more about our efforts. You can read more about Amanda and the years that she's dedicated to this work. And I just wanted to, I'm going to stop sharing this really quick so I can pull up the, I can't see my mouse. There we go. So I can share with you the survey. So if you could see my screen, this is our website, and you can just hit start survey. And this is our survey. If you scroll down here, you'll see it's available in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese, and you just switch it over. And this is just so if you know of somebody, you can direct them and tell them to switch it to whatever language they need it to be. And that is all. Please let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.
All right, attendees, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature or the chat feature. Grecia and Amanda, I want to thank you for sharing this information. Obviously, it's really sad and unfortunate, and hopefully we can get community members to engage in the survey so you have the information that you need.
And one thing people could tell us is ways that the public is helping to cover the cost of the needs of individuals with these disabilities. We know about special education, but I'm sure there's more. In-home support, service work, transportation, all of that. Why are we all paying for it instead of an industry that could have prevented it? So this is a collaborative project.
So attendees, I do encourage you to share this information. I'll be sharing the link via email with everyone along with a link to the video. And the more participants, the more information they will get. And again, Grecia and Amanda, thank you for presenting information tonight. Amanda, thank you for the work you've been doing for so long. All right. Okay. Well, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next time. Good night.